You walk into a dealership. You see a truck you like. The salesperson asks one question. What monthly payment can you afford? You say $700. They nod. They run the numbers. 6 years at 7%. You drive off the lot with a $730 payment. You feel good. 3 months later, you are broke. The payment is not $730. It is $1,200. How did that happen? This is the car poor trap. And almost nobody shows you the real math. This is educational, not personal financial advice. The average car payment for a new vehicle in America is $748 per month. For a used car, it is $532. Those numbers are real from recent data. But those numbers are lies. Not because they are inaccurate, because they are incomplete. Your car payment is only one piece of what your car actually costs. And if you budget based only on the payment, you will feel broke every single month. Let me show you what I call the car cost stack. This is every dollar your car takes from you, stacked in order. Layer 1 is the payment. Layer 2 is insurance. Layer 3 is fuel. Layer 4 is maintenance and repairs. Layer 5 is registration, taxes, and fees. And Layer 6, the one nobody talks about until it is too late, is depreciation. Together, these 6 layers are what your car actually costs. And for the average new car owner, that total is $1,024 per month, $12,297 per year. If you are making $70,000 a year, that is over 17% of your gross income going to one car. Let's break down each layer. Start with the payment. $748 for a new car. The average new car price is $42,332. The average loan term is 69 months. That is almost 6 years. The average interest rate is 6.56%. You are not just buying a car. You are financing a car for longer than most people keep a car. If you finance $42,000 at 6.56% for 69 months, you will pay over $50,000 total. $8,000 in interest. Gone. You are paying nearly 20% more than the sticker price just for the privilege of spreading payments over time. Used cars are cheaper, right? The average used car payment is $532. The average used car price is $27,128. The interest rate is worse, 11.4%. The loan term is 67 months, still over 5.5 years. You finance $27,000 at 11% for 67 months, and you pay $36,000 total. $9,000 in interest. You are paying 33% more than the car is worth. Yes, the payment is lower, but the interest is brutal. Used car loans cost you more per dollar borrowed than new car loans. The banks know used cars are riskier. They charge you for that risk. Here is the first trap. Dealers do not care about the total cost. They care about the monthly payment. They will stretch your loan to 72 months, 84 months, even 96 months if you let them. Why? Because a longer loan means a lower payment, and a lower payment feels affordable. But you are underwater for years. After 3 years of payments on a 6-year loan, you owe more than the car is worth. If you need to sell or trade in, you are stuck. You either pay the difference out of pocket or you roll the negative equity into your next loan. And the cycle continues. Now let's talk about Layer 2, insurance. The average cost of full coverage car insurance in America is $2,697 per year. That is $225 per month. Minimum coverage is cheaper, around $68 per month. But if you are financing a car, you do not get to choose minimum coverage. The lender requires full coverage. They want their asset protected. So you are paying $225 a month, whether you like it or not. That is $2,700 a year. For some people, that is more than their car payment. And it is invisible until the bill comes. You sign the loan documents. You drive off the lot. 2 weeks later, the insurance bill hits. Surprise. Insurance varies wildly by state, age, and driving record. If you are under 25, it is higher. If you have a ticket or an accident, it is higher. If you live in Florida or Michigan, it is much higher. Some drivers pay over $400 a month for insurance. That is $4,800 a year. Just for the right to legally drive the car, they are already paying $700 a month to own. Layer 3 is fuel. The average American drives around 12,000 to 15,000 miles per year. At 25 miles per gallon and $4 per gallon, that is about $2,000 a year in gas. $170 a month. If you drive a truck or SUV that gets 15 miles per gallon, you are at $3,200 a year. $270 a month. If you commute 50 miles each way to work, double it. Fuel is not optional. You buy the car, you pay for the gas. And gas prices fluctuate. $4 today could be $5 next year. You have no control. Layer 4 is maintenance and repairs. For a new car, this is relatively low for the first few years. Maybe $500 to $800 a year. Oil changes, tire rotations, inspections. But as the car ages, costs rise. After 5 years, you are looking at $1,200 to $1,500 a year. Tires, brakes, batteries, belts, fluids. And that is if nothing major breaks. If you need a transmission, an engine, a catalytic converter, you are looking at thousands. The average annual maintenance and repair cost is around $1,384 per year, but it varies wildly by how much you drive and how old your car is. Some people pay $300 a year. Some pay $3,000. You do not know until it happens. Layer 5 is registration, taxes, and fees. This varies by state. Some states charge a flat fee. Some charge based on vehicle value. On average, you are looking at $300 to $600 a year. In some states, it is over $1,000. This is a recurring cost. Every year. Forever. As long as you own the car. And now Layer 6. Depreciation. This is the silent killer. Depreciation is not a bill you pay every month. It is value you lose every month. And it is massive. A new car loses about 20% of its value in the first year. Not because you drove it badly, because you drove it off the lot. The moment the title transfers, the car is used. And used cars are worth less. A $50,000 car is worth $40,000 after 1 year. You lost $10,000. You did not get a bill for $10,000, but you lost it. After the first year, depreciation slows but does not stop. Years 2 through 5, the car loses about 15% per year. By year 5, a $50,000 car is worth about $16,000. You lost $34,000 in 5 years. That is $6,800 per year. $567 per month. You are not paying it to anyone. But it is gone. If you finance the car, you are paying interest on money that bought value that no longer exists. You borrowed $50,000. You paid $58,000 with interest. And the car is worth $16,000. You paid $58,000 for something worth $16,000. That is a $42,000 loss. Let's add up the car cost stack for a typical new car owner. Payment, $748. Insurance, $225. Gas, $170. Maintenance, $100. Registration and fees, $50. That is $1,293 per month in direct costs. Add depreciation, $567 per month in lost value. Total cost, $1,860 per month. $22,320 per year. For one car. But wait. Most people do not think about depreciation as a monthly cost because it is not a bill. So let's just look at the cash you are actually spending. $1,293 per month. $15,516 per year. If you are making $70,000 a year, your take-home after taxes is probably around $52,000. $15,516 is 30% of your take-home income. For one car. That is why you feel car poor. Because you are. Now, let's compare new versus used. A used car that is 3 years old and costs $27,000. Payment, $532. Insurance, $225. Gas, $170. Maintenance, $150 because the car is older. Registration, $50. Total monthly cash cost, $1,127. That is about $166 less per month than new. $2,000 per year. Over 5 years, that is $10,000 in savings. But here is the catch. The used car is already 3 years old. It has already depreciated 30%. It will depreciate another 30% over the next 5 years. A $27,000 used car will be worth around $11,000 after 5 years. You lost $16,000 in value. The new car, you lost $34,000. So used saves you about $18,000 in depreciation over the same period. Total cost of ownership, used is cheaper. But only if you avoid high-interest loans. Here is the brutal reality. If you finance a used car at 11% for 67 months, your interest cost eats most of the savings. You save on depreciation but lose on interest. The best financial move is to buy a 3 to 5 year old car with cash. No interest. No 6-year loan. Depreciation is mostly done. Maintenance is still reasonable. You pay once, and it is yours. But most people cannot do that. They do not have $27,000 in cash. So they finance. And the cycle continues. Let's talk about the 24-10 rule. This is a guideline for car affordability. 20% down. 4-year loan maximum. Total car expenses no more than 10% of gross monthly income. Let's test it. You make $70,000 a year. That is $5,800 per month gross. 10% is $580. That is your total car budget. Payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, registration. All of it. $580. Can you buy a new car on that budget? No. The payment alone is $748. Can you buy a used car? Maybe. If your payment is $300, insurance is $200, and gas is $80, you are at $580. But that is tight. Very tight. And it requires a huge down payment or a cheap car. The 24-10 rule is not about affording the car you want. It is about affording the car you can actually pay for without going broke. Here is what most people do. They ignore the rule. They stretch. They finance a $40,000 car on a $60,000 income. The payment is $650. Insurance is $225. Gas is $170. Maintenance is $100. Total, $1,145. That is 23% of gross income, over twice the recommended limit. And it feels fine for the first few months. Then something breaks. The transmission, the air conditioning, the brakes. You need $1,500 for repairs. You do not have it, so you put it on a credit card. Now you have car debt and credit card debt. The stress builds, and you are trapped. Here is the escape plan. First, calculate your actual car cost stack. Write down your payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, registration. Add it up. What is your monthly total? Now divide that by your gross monthly income. If it is over 10%, you are in the danger zone. If it is over 15%, you are car poor. Second, decide what you can actually afford. 10% of gross income is the target. If you make $60,000 a year, that is $5,000 per month gross, $500 per month for your car. Total. If you are currently spending $1,100, you need to cut $600. How? Option 1, sell the car and buy something cheaper. Option 2, pay off the car faster so the payment disappears. Option 3, move closer to work so you spend less on gas. Option 4, drop to minimum insurance if the car is paid off and worth less than $5,000. These are not fun options, but they are the options. Third, if you are about to buy a car, use the decision tree. Start with the question, do I have 20% down? If no, do not buy. Save until you do. If yes, next question, can I get a 4-year loan or less? If no, the car is too expensive. Find a cheaper car. If yes, next question, will my total monthly car expenses be under 10% of gross income? If no, the car is too expensive. If yes, you can afford it. This tree stops you from making emotional decisions. Dealerships thrive on emotion. You see the car, you want the car, you sign the papers. The tree forces logic. Here is a 7-day challenge. Day 1. Pull up your last 3 months of bank statements. Highlight every car-related expense: payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, registration, parking, tolls. Add it up. That is your true monthly car cost. Day 2. Divide that number by your gross monthly income. What percentage is it? Write it down. Day 3. If your car is financed, look up what you owe versus what the car is worth. Use an online valuation tool. Are you underwater? By how much? Day 4. Calculate how much interest you will pay over the life of your loan. Multiply your monthly payment by the number of months remaining. Subtract the amount you still owe. That is your remaining interest. Day 5. Research what a 3 to 5-year-old version of your current car costs. How much cheaper is it? Could you sell yours, pay off the loan, and buy that one with cash or a small loan? Day 6. If you are not ready to sell, calculate how much extra you need to pay each month to pay off your car in half the time. Even an extra $100 per month cuts years off a loan. Day 7. Commit to one change. Pay extra on the loan. Sell and downgrade. Move closer to work. Drop expensive insurance. Something. One actionable step. Let's talk about real scenarios. Person A makes $60,000 a year, $5,000 per month gross. They finance a $35,000 car. Payment is $600. Insurance is $250. Gas is $200. Maintenance is $100. Registration is $50. Total $1,200 per month. That is 24% of gross income. They are car poor. They have no margin. One unexpected expense, and they are in trouble. Person B makes the same $60,000. They buy a $12,000 used car with cash. No payment. Insurance is $150 because the car is paid off and they only carry liability. Gas is $200. Maintenance is $150 because the car is older. Registration is $50. Total $550 per month. That is 11% of gross income. Close to the target. They have margin. They can save. They can handle surprises. Same income. Wildly different financial stress. Here is the psychology. Cars are identity in America. You are what you drive. A nice car signals success. A cheap car signals struggle. So people stretch. They buy cars they cannot afford to signal status they do not have. And they trap themselves. The dealership does not care. The bank does not care. They get paid either way. You are the one stuck with a payment for 6 years, while the car loses value, while your income stays flat, while life happens. Here is the shift. Stop thinking about cars as assets. They are expenses. A car does not make you money. It costs you money. Every month. Forever. Until it is gone. The goal is not to own the nicest car. The goal is to own the least expensive car that reliably gets you where you need to go. Anything more is lifestyle inflation. And lifestyle inflation is the enemy of wealth. Let's talk about when new makes sense. If you plan to keep the car for 10 years or more, buying new can be cost-effective. You avoid the high-interest used car loans. You get the warranty. You know the car has not been abused. The depreciation hit is brutal in the first few years, but if you keep it long enough, you spread that cost over a decade. The key is to buy a reliable brand, pay it off fast, and drive it until the wheels fall off. If you trade in every 3 years, you are throwing money away. You eat the depreciation and never own the car outright. You are perpetually in debt. When does used make sense? Almost always. A 3-year-old car has lost 30% of its value, but still has 70% of its life. If you buy it with cash or a small loan, you avoid interest and you drive it for years. The total cost of ownership is much lower than new. The risk is buying a lemon, a car that has hidden problems. That is why you pay for a pre-purchase inspection. $150 to have a mechanic check it out before you buy. It is the best money you will ever spend. It saves you from buying someone else's problem. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most Americans cannot afford the cars they drive. They are house poor and car poor. The house takes 35% of income. The car takes 25%. That is 60% gone before food, insurance, utilities, savings, or anything else. There is no margin, no flexibility. One layoff, one medical bill, and they are in crisis. The solution is not to make more money. Most people cannot just double their income. The solution is to spend less on housing and transportation. And since housing is hard to change quickly, the car is the easier target. Sell it. Downgrade. Get out of debt. Free up cash flow. Build margin. Here is what you can do today. Log into your loan account. See what you owe. See what your car is worth. If you are not underwater, consider selling. If you are underwater, calculate how much you need to pay to get even. Then pay it. Aggressively. Every extra dollar you throw at that loan shortens the term and saves interest. If you are about to buy, walk away from the dealership. Go home. Use an online calculator. Figure out the real cost. Payment plus insurance, plus gas, plus maintenance. If it is over 10% of your income, you cannot afford it. Find a cheaper car. Use the 24-10 rule. It is not exciting, but it keeps you out of the car. Poor trap. The average American spends over $12,000 per year on their car. That is $1,000 per month. If you are making $70,000, that is over 17% of your gross income on a depreciating asset. That makes no financial sense. But it is normalized. Everyone has a car payment. Everyone stretches. Everyone feels broke. You do not have to follow that path. You can drive a paid-off car. You can spend $500 a month instead of $1,200. You can have margin. It requires saying no to the nice car. But the trade-off is financial freedom. The car poor trap is real. The math is brutal. Payments, insurance, depreciation, gas, maintenance. It all adds up. And if you ignore any piece of it, you will feel broke. The car cost stack shows you the truth. The 24-10 rule shows you the limit. The decision tree shows you the path. Use them. Calculate your real cost. Compare it to your income. Make a change if you need to. And if you are about to buy, slow down. Run the numbers. Make sure you can actually afford it. Not just the payment. The whole stack.